Hello everyone, my name is Priyanka Goswami, Assistant Professor of GL Bajaj Institute of Management Research, Greater Noida. Today we are going to discuss lecture number 10. Topic is organizing. So today we will discuss meaning of organizing, features of organizing, importance and procedure of organizing and types of organization. So let's start with the organizing. So today we are going to cover these topics: definition of organizing, importance of organizing, steps involved in organizing process and the types of organization. Let's start with the meaning of organizing. Organizing is the function of management which follows planning. Organizing is one of the part of or the function of management which basically comes after the planning. Once the manager finishes his planning, then only he has to organize the things. How we can organize? It is a function in which the synchronization and the combination of human, physical and financial resources takes place. It is the function where manager needs to synchronize the things, synchronize the resources in the form of human, physical and the financial resources, where he divides the work on the basis of their employees' specialization, and on the basis of their work he also allot the resources and the finance accordingly. So in this step only he basically divides the authority and responsibility to the people and the resources which is needed by the employees. Third one is, according to Chester Bernard, organizing is a function by which the concern is able to define the role positions, the jobs related and the coordination between authority and responsibility. Organizing is a step where manager needs to define the roles, that which person needs to do what. Right, and on the basis of his job he has to allot the responsibility and authority to those employees, and on the basis of that he also tries to coordinate between the authority and responsibility which he has allocated to those employees. So in organizing, basically he defines the role, that what person needs to do what work, right, and on the basis of that he has to even given the authority and responsibility to the people and making coordination among these authority and responsibility. According to Lewis Allen, organizing is the process of identifying and grouping the work to be performed. That means here the manager has to identify that what work he has to do in the organization, right. So first he has to identify that what are the work he has to do, or he has to get it done by the employees, and on the basis of that he grouping the work. That means he grouping the work, then on the basis of division. Grouping the work means he has to divide the work into the small groups, and on the basis of that he delegate the responsibility to the number of people or to the group of people, and on the responsibility and authority, because without authority person cannot perform his responsibility. So authority and responsibility both has to go simultaneously. And establishing relationship for the purpose of enabling people to work most effectively together, accomplishing objectives. And at the same time, after allotting authority and responsibility, he has to make a formal relationship among employees, that which person needs to report which person. That means who will be the supervisor in the organization and who will be the subordinate of that particular employee, right. So this kind of relationship, that means establishment of formal relationship, will also done in the organizing step. Organizing is a process of defining the essential relationship among the people. That means in organizing only, manager has to define the relationship, the formal relationship between the employees, that who has to report to which person. So this kind of making relationship will be done in organizing only. Task and the activities, that means which person will do what kind of task, what kind of responsibility he has to take. So this kind of arrangement basically done in the organizing step in such a way that all the organization resources are integrated and coordinated to accomplish its objective efficiently and effectively. In organizing only, while allocating the work to the people, he has to see that what are their specialization in which they are excel. So on the basis of that, they have to divide the work, they have to divide the authority and responsibility to the people. So actually organizing is very important function of management, because in this only he has to allot the work to the people so that they can perform their work efficiently and effectively. features, if we talk about the features of organizing, these are the features of organizing. Number one is it is a continuous process. As we know that management is a continuous process, because if there is a work in the organization, we have to plan, we have to organize, we have to staff the people to get the work done, we have to direct the people, we have to give supervision to the people, and last one is we have to control the people. Like as management is a continuous process, the same way organizing is also a continuous process. Like if there is a work, so obviously after planning we have to organize the things, we have to make allotment of the work to the certain people. So that's why it is a continuous process. It is a function of all the managers. Yes, it is not, this organizing is something, or management is something which is not limited or restricted to the certain level. That means if in the organization there are 3 levels, top level, middle level and lower level, the same way organizing, the same way management is done in all the level, the same way organizing will also done by all the managers. So that means it is not restricted to the one particular level. Organizing involves coordination. Yes, like we know that in the organizing function only, he has to establish the relationship between people, he has to allot authority and responsibility according to the people interest. The same way the coordination is also important, because if once he has to know that what are their specialization, on the basis of that he has to allocate the resources and the work to the people. So somehow we can say that coordination is also important between their interests and the responsibility that is going to allot to that people. In the same way, the responsibility they are going to give, on the basis of responsibilities nature only, they have to give the authority so that they can perform their work effectively and efficiently. So somehow coordination is very important while making organizing, or while doing this organizing function. Next one is goal oriented. Yes, organizing is goal oriented, as we know that to run the organization, or organization main purpose is to achieve a goal or to increase the profit. The same way, while performing, to perform organizing function, there must be some purpose. Like it can be, it is the main purpose of any organization is to increase the profit. The same way, if organizing is performing in the organization to get the work done properly and effectively, so obviously the same way it must be some purpose, then only this organizing function is going to perform. So goal oriented. Next one is establishes authority and responsibility relationship, because this is the only function where manager needs to allot the work or divide the work to the certain peoples. The same way, on the basis of the responsibility, on the basis of the work he is going to allot to the people, the authority and responsibility also need to allot or delegate to the people. So in this function only, manager needs to establish the authority and responsibility relationship, that what are their responsibility, and on the basis of responsibilities nature, they have to allot the authority to the people. Then only they can work effectively and efficiently. Because if manager is only giving responsibility but without authority, is he able to do? No, he is not able to do his work properly. He needs some authority to do a work, right? Like if we take an example of security guard, like security guard work is to stop unknown vehicle in the campus, right? So obviously, if his responsibility is to take care that any unknown vehicle will not come or enter in the campus, the same way he also has a power to stop people, to stop those vehicles who is unknown to the campus, right? So somehow to perform his responsibility, that power also we have to allot to that particular security guard to work is done effectively, right? The same way, this authority and responsibility needs to go simultaneously, and it is basically done in organizing function only. Organizing involves division of work. In organizing only, manager needs to identify the work, and on the basis of identification, he has to divide the work into a different people, or the certain type of people. So this division of work is also done in organizing step. Next one is concept of differentiation and integration. This is very important, that in organizing only, manager needs to take care about differentiation and at the same time integration. Differentiation in what sense? That means here he divides the work on the basis of specialization. Yes, so that means the work which is divided and which is going to be allotted to the different peoples, they are unique in nature, right? Suppose if there is a work which is related to a finance or related to the marketing, so he has to divide and making into a similar group, like marketing work will come in one segment and the financial related work will come in one segment and the HR related work will come in one segment, and according to the specialization he will give. So that means if we talk about finance department, so finance department people will be unique or the different with the HR department, right? But so in this way, while dividing the work and allotting to the work to the different people, the differentiation needs to be there, right? And the same way integration, but yes, they are different with each other, but they have to work integratedly. That means the goal should be common between those people, right? Like ultimate, all the departments are working for the organization or organization's profit. The same way this integration is also important. Yes, this nature of work or the department or the skills required is different from each other of every department, but the same way they have to work integratedly. That's why we say that in organizing, the two of the concept or both the concepts is very important in the organizing function. Next one is importance. If I talk about the importance, that why organizing is important in the organization, so number one is efficient administration. Yes, if we say that in organizing only, manager needs to divide the work to the peoples and allot the work according to their specialization. So obviously it would be easy in manager's perspective to manage all the things, right? Because he knows that this person is responsible for this work, so he can directly ask to that person, or he can directly know that okay, he is accountable for this work. So in this way, in management perspective, through organizing, he can manage the things efficiently, and we can say easily or conveniently. So that's why we say that organizing is important, so that he can administer the whole organization efficiently. Next one is resource optimization. That means that if there is a separation of work, or the similar work come in one category in organizing function, so obviously resource optimization, that means a manager is dividing or allocating the work on the basis of employees' interest and their specialization. So obviously the work will come, or the result will come better, right? So we can say that if one person is specialized in one particular area, so while giving or allocating the same work to that particular person will also give a result with the optimization resources. That means he's specialized in that particular work, so he will do his work in a better way, without wastages, or we can say in a minimum time period, or in a minimum cost. So we can say that automatically, if we are allotting the work to the specialized person, so obviously resource optimization will be achieved. Next one is promotes effective communication. Yes, if manager knows, or if whole organization knows that okay, this kind of work will be done by this group of people, right, or this particular person, right? So obviously it would be easy for the manager or for the higher authority to communicate properly, because they know, because all the work is clarified. I mean, all the work is clear that which work will be done by which person, right? So in this way we can say that communication would be effective. That means if higher authority needs to ask result or the performance of specific kind of work, though they knows that this kind of work will be done by this person, so they are accountable for this. So obviously they can directly ask to that particular person or the group of people, right? So obviously if organizing is there, so effective communication will also be achieved. Next is create transparency. Yes, if organizing is there, like if all the work is divided properly and allotted and allocated to the different kind of people, so obviously it is very clarify in the mind of a manager or in the mind of employees that this is the work for which this kind of people are accountable, right? So what is that? It shows the transparency. That means there is no confusion in the mind of employees and in the mind of manager that which person needs to do what kind of work. So in this case we can say that transparency is also there. That means there is no confusion, there is no hidden, or there is no we can say that disclarity of work. That means disclarity of information. That means everyone is very clear that what kind of work will be done by which person. Next one is expansion and growth. If organizing is done in the organization properly, so obviously they can think of some different changes, like they can think of making a new branch of their organization in different geographical area, right? So if organizing is done for the current work properly, then only they can think of new expansion or the growth of the organization. Next one is coordination. Obviously, if organizing is there, if all the responsibility and authority is clear for the employees and for the manager, so obviously the coordination would be done in a better way. Next one is scope for new changes. Same thing, that like if organizing is there, I mean if all the responsibility, if all the this relationship, formal relationship is clear, if all the responsibility is clear, if there is a transparency also, obviously the work will be done in a better way. And if the current work is done in a better way, then only they can think of some new changes, that what kind of new changes they can make, or what kind of creativity or innovation they can create in the organization for the sake of growth and expansion. So in this way we can say that if organizing is there in the organization, so obviously they can think of new changes in the organization for the sake of growth and expansion. Next one is sense of security. Yes, sense of security in the mind of employees. If employee is very clear that what kind of work they are responsible for, so obviously they are, so somehow they'll be secured that okay, that this is my work, that means I also play a very important role in the organization, or in this way they can have a sense of security in the organization. Next one, these are the steps of organization in which this manager needs to follow while organizing or perform this organizing function. Number one is identification of activity. First of all, manager in organizing function, first of all manager has to identify the activities. That means to run, suppose if there is a new project, right, and for new project there are number of tasks they have to, I mean he has to get it done, right? So first of all, to achieve or to make it successful, that particular project, he has to identify that what kind of task he has to do, or he has to get it done by the people, so that this project would be a successful project, right? So first of all he has to identify the activities. Once he identify the activities, then only he will divide the similar activities into a different departments. So then on the basis of after identification of activities, he will grouping the activities into a different departments, and once he divide the work into the department, then he classify the authority. That means here he already defined the department, and also he allot the responsibility to the people, and once he allot the responsibility to the people, he has to classify the authority also, like which kind of department will need what kind of authority. So here he has to classify the authority, and once these two steps will be done, so obviously the coordination of authority and responsibility is also very important, which is done by the manager only. Then we are talking about, now the next slide is type of organization, right? If we talk about type of organization, there are two type of organization, line organization and the line and staff organization. Line organization is the simplest and the oldest type of organization. Line organization is the form of organization wherein the authority flows from the person present at the top of the organization hierarchy to the person working at the lowest level. Like line organization is what it is, it is very oldest type of structure, which basically where always it is a type of structure or type of organization where authority or concentration of authority is in the one hand, or we can say that unity of command exists in this kind of organization. So if we talk about the hierarchy, so this kind of hierarchy will be made in line structure, or we can say if hierarchy in this way, so obviously this kind of hierarchy we will call as line organization, where concentration of authority is in the one hand, right? And this is the simplest kind of organization, and it is suitable for the small organization, because here departmentation is not, is not exist. Like here division of work is, delegation of authority is there, but for the certain time period, but there is no permanent departments in the organization. So this type of line organization, this type of organization structure is known as line organization, where the authority flows from the person present at the top level, and it flows to the lowest level. So in this way, concentration of authority is in the one hand. Under this type of organization, authority flows downward and responsibility moves upward. In this kind of organization, authority flows downward and responsibility flows upward. That means that authority will be flow downward. That means because he has the authority, and responsibility means the result, the work which is done. The major responsibility will is in the hand of lower level people, right, because they are more responsible for the work rather than this person. So obviously responsibility flow upward. Scalar principle and the unity of command are strictly followed in line organization. Yes, if we talk about scalar chain also tells the chain of hierarchy, right, a chain of hierarchy where again authority flows from top to bottom. This principle, this is one of the principles of Henry Fayol, right, where they say that that chain of command will be flow from top to bottom. The same way in line organization also scalar principle followed, and in the same way unity of command is also flowed in the line organization. This type of organization resembles with the army administration or military type of organization. Line organization is basically a lot, we can say that resembled from, or we can say it is taken from the military type of organization, where there is one chief, there is one chief, and rest of the people has to listen that particular individual, right. So this line organization is basically resembled, or we can say it's taken from military type of organization. An organization characteristics of such type of organization is superior subordinate relationship. Yes, in this type of relationship, in this type of organization, basically tells you that there is one superior and one subordinate. That means authority is not divided into the department. Advantages is what, that there is a clear cut relationship. That means there is no confusion to whom they have to report. So they know that, like if we talk about like this hierarchy, so there is a clear cut relationship that he is the supervisor and he is the subordinate, and for him he is the supervisor and he is the subordinate, and for him he is the supervisor, right. So same way there is a clear cut relationship in the organization. Next one is unity of command. Yes, that authority or the responsibility will be in one hand. That's why we say that yes, there is a unity of command, so people will work without any confusion. Prompt decision making. Yes, if like as we know that in a line organization there is a concentration of authority in one hand, so obviously the decision making will be fast and we can say the prompt, like because there is no division of authority to the different people. That means somehow the responsibility or the authority is in the one hand, so obviously the decision making would be fast. Effective coordination. Yes, like there is no confusion, there is a prompt decision making, so obviously the coordination would be better. Why? Because there is a direct communication between the superior and his subordinate. Next one is discipline. Yes, as we know that in line organization, concentration of authority is in the one hand. That means there is only one individual who commands rest of the people. So obviously discipline would be better in this type of organization. Disadvantages, difficulty in staffing. As we know, there is no specialized people. As we know, there is no specialized department. So obviously to hire the people, we have people who will be all-rounder, right? And to get the person with all the traits is hardly, or is not possible. So that's why we can say that difficulty in staffing, that means to hire the people with all the traits is rarely, or we can say it's difficult. Next one is concentration of authority. Yes, like if we know, as we know that in the line organization, the authority is in the one hand, right? So obviously in this way we can say that that people will, that means the innovation and creativity will lack in this type of organization. Why? Because there is only one person who decides the thing, who gives command to the people, so obviously there is no scope of creativity and innovation. So in this way we can say that this concentration of authority will be a disadvantage for line organization, and lack of specialization. As I told you that in this kind of organization there is no specialized department, like all the person has to all the people have to be with all the qualities, right? So in this way we can say that lack of specialization exists in this type of organization. Line and staff organization is the modification of line organization. So it is the extension of line organization where this along with the line organization, staff organization also exists. The line officers have authority to take decisions and implement them to achieve the objectives of the organization, while staff officers may give the advice to the line officers. Here basically hierarchy makes in this way. This is the line. I told you, I made this kind of diagram in the previous topic also, like line organization. But if we extend it, so this become line and staff. Why? Because this specialized or department is being created in this type of organization. So in this way we can say that the authority would be in the hand of line organization, but these staff officers are there to give advice to the line officers. Division of work and the specialization takes place in the line and staff organization. As we can see that in this hierarchy there is a specialization. Yes, like this department, that if I say that this department is of HR, so obviously all the people will be of HR specialized. So obviously division of work exists in this kind of organization, and even the specialization also exists in this type of organization. There are two lines, line authority and staff authority. That means along with the line authority, staff authority also exists in this type of organization. Power of command remains with the line executives, and staff serves only as a counselor. Staff officer is there but only to advise to the line officers, not more than that. Ultimate approval will be given by the line executives. The whole organization divided into a different functional areas to which staff specialists are attached. Yes, in line and staff organization, basically all the work will be, or we can say the departmentation will be created on the basis of specialization and on the basis of different areas. Advantages is what? That there is specialization exists in this type of organization. Growth and expansion can be possible. Why? Because obviously there are specialized people exist in the organization, so the work will be managed in a proper way. Why? Because ultimate one person is not there who is liable for everything or who decides everything. So obviously responsibility and authority will be divided on the basis of the department. So obviously they can think of expansion and growth if there is a line and staff organization. Lesser burden on line executives. As I told you that there is a division of work, there is a division of authority and responsibility, and in this case we can say that the line executive is not responsible for everything. So in this way lesser burden will be on the head or on the part of line executives. Better decisions, yes, as specialized people are exist in this type of organization, so obviously the decision would be better than the line organization. Training of line executives, and line executives will also get the opportunity to learn from the specialized from the staff officers that how to work in this type of or in this particular specialized area. Disadvantage is what? Different orientation. There might be a possibility that line and organization at one particular time period, line executive and staff executives are not agree with each other. So obviously this conflict may arise, or different orientation can exist. Conflicts between line and staff. It might be possible that there is a conflict between line and staff organization. Thank you.